Joining us now is the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Law and Justice that has drafted the Lokpal Bill, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi with us. Appreciate your joining us. You've had a tough task, I know, over the last few months. And I know that you're saying that you've achieved a fair measure of consensus. But at the end of the day, with 16 dissenting notes, including some congressmen, it seems that there is a sharp division on key issues, Mr. Singhvi, when it comes to the draft Lokpal.
You know, I must explain, Rajdeep, to you the meaning of this dissenting note. The 16 dissenting notes is a very misleading term. There are 31 members of the committee. There are some 25 odd issues, actually more than 25 odd issues. Prime Minister is one of them. Group C is one of them. Now, what is happening is that you, in a committee, you have individual members of individual views.
Yes.
Now, for issue A, out of the 25 issues, 3 members may file a dissent note. But whatever is in the committee automatically means that it has the approbation of the balance 26 people.
So your point is well taken.
Issue B, let me explain. One minute, please give me 1 minute.
Yes.
On another issue B, there may be 5 dissents. It means that there are 25 people agreeing.
Yes.
And the 5 in the B issue and the 3 in the A issue are not necessarily the same people. So, the short point I am making is there is a wide degree of convergence. There are many dissents. There are Congress members dissent because the committee is individual MPs. It's not a politically divide.
Yes.
But what you see in the report and what you will see on Friday is the overwhelming sense of the majority of the committee. Okay. That alone goes in the report. The rest come as dissent notes.
Point taken.
I am happy, I am satisfied, I am a relieved person, and we have adopted the report today with the dissent notes.
Yes, but you know, when you speak of those dissent notes, as you yourself admitted, some congressmen, Congress MPs have also dissented crucially on the issue of the lower bureaucracy. Group C and Group D employees should be included within the ambit of the anti-corruption bill. On that issue, even Congress MPs have dissented. That seems to be the key issue of divergence.
No. You see, there is no Congress MP doesn't have a veto, which is a special veto, different from the veto or a vote of a Samajwadi Party MP, Rajdeep.
Yes.
Suppose on the committee 20 people have a view. The balance can have a different view. All the 10 will have a dissent. That may include Congress MPs. But I am obliged to convey the sense of the committee.
So the
number 1. Number 2, you must realize, one second. When you go into Parliament, into the House, the same MPs can very often, you know, the Congress MPs can very often speak against or for a bill which is moved by the government of the day, which is a Congress-led government. So it happens all the time.
So the entire opposition has opposed the issue of exclusion of lower bureaucracy. Now they are being joined by at least 3 Congress MPs. To that extent, is this an issue? Is this an issue you will concede where perhaps needs a wider debate now before the final Lokpal draft takes place before the Parliament?
No. There is no question of any wider debate as far as the committee is concerned.
Not the committee, but after the cabinet. After the cabinet brings it to
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have myself said officially, I am repeating before you, the government, forget the Parliament, first come to the government.
Yes.
The government is itself entitled to go beyond the standing committee report.
Yes.
There is no regression. The government may add more to the standing committee. Parliament may add still more.
Right.
Suppose there was a D or a E. There is no actually D and E. So that's entirely possible. And let me tell you, Sir Rajdeep, it happens all the time in legislation. What is proposed by standing committee very frequently is dissented from as well by the government. But here we are talking of additions beyond the standing committee, which is improvements or additions or enlargements.
So the government could easily decide that the lower bureaucracy should be brought under the ambit of the Lokpal. The government is free to decide that when it reviews your bill. That's point number A. You are accepting that. Okay, you are accepting that. The second point, of course, is that interestingly you have said the issue of the Prime Minister being brought under the ambit of the Lokpal should be left to the wisdom of Parliament. Why is that, Dr. Singhvi? Why is it that the committee was unable to take any kind of decision at the end of the day, even a majority decision on this issue?
I think you have to understand what we have said, and I am not at liberty to quote yet because the report will formally come day after tomorrow.
Yes.
But I think that is a result of us trying to be excessively fair and inclusive. There were, to be very frank, Rajdeep, at least 3 tangible, large views on the model of the Prime Minister. One view could be absolute exclusion, one view could be inclusion with safeguards, A third view could be full inclusion with deferred prosecution.
Yes.
Now, there could be a fourth or a fifth view. Now, in fairness, if the committee felt
Yes.
that 3 out of the many views possible, and I'm not saying which 3 because I'm not revealing the report to you yet,
Yes.
had a wide measure of support. One had 4 members, one had 6 members, one had 5 members,
Yes.
but these 3 were the predominant view of the committee. Then one way would be to just try to find a majority within these 3 views.
Yes.
The other better way would be that since all 3 commanded a substantial support in the committee, it's fair for the
Okay.
committee to put all 3, excluding 2 or 3 other peripheral views,
Okay.
and say, look, these 3
Yes.
have a fair amount of support. Why not Parliament consider it? I
Okay.
think it's being inclusively fair and inclusive.
Okay, point taken. You're saying that there was a 3-way divide on that. But on the issue of the CBI, which is the other contentious issue, which Team Anna believes is really the issue on which you haven't addressed the concerns of civil society, whichever group they belong to, not just Team Anna, but other groups as well as Aruna Roy's group, for example, that the CBI must be made as autonomous as possible in its prosecution and in investigation. Some believe that it should be under the Lokpal. On that issue, it appears that the government certainly hasn't, your committee hasn't addressed the concerns that have been expressed.
Rajdeep, whoever is saying that
Yes.
could not be farther from the truth. Please wait till Friday.
Yes.
In the preface itself, I have given 8 features,
Yes.
what I call firsts, never before in independent India for 60 years, which we have proposed. All 8 of them go towards a very much more effective anti-corruption bill and a strengthened CBI. That's in the preface itself. Number 2, obviously, what I am obliged to do is to convey the overwhelming sense of the committee. And on this issue, not a majority, but the overwhelming sense of the committee has been conveyed. There is a great degree of unanimity, not complete. And on that basis, we are not here to satisfy or to cater to the needs of any individual or any institution.
Okay,
we are here to convey the sense of the committee, and the overwhelming sense of the committee is that what we have proposed
Yes.
makes it a very independent CBI,
Yes.
B, a very much more strengthened investigation, C, a more strengthened
But still under the
prosecution,
government.
and
Still
D,
under the
an
government.
equilibrium.
Under
An
the
equilibrium.
government. The CBI under the government.
No. Who says that? Obviously, a person who's saying that has not read the report.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you an example without reading from the report.
Yes.
Let me give you an example.
Yes.
Suppose, and I'm
Yes.
hypothesizing with you.
Yes.
Suppose there is a statutory provision
Yes.
which says the CBI on the merits of the investigation shall not be answerable even
Yes.
to either the ministry or the Lokpal. Would
Yes.
you call it under the government?
So
I mean,
you're,
for 60
you're
years you don't
saying
have a provision like that.
You're saying take the CBI, what the committee's majority view seems to be, take it out of the Lokpal's purview and the government's purview. In that sense, that is your definition of autonomous. That is the definition that you seem
That
to have
could be-
arrived at.
No,
Okay.
no. That's the problem is this is all being said without carefully reading the report,
Okay.
Rajdeep.
Okay.
That is part truth. One part of the truth, it could be.
Okay.
But there's a lot of other ancillary provisions.
Okay. But
And the fact of the matter is, if there's a statutory provision saying that,
Yes.
well then I don't see any other way of making the CBI more autonomous and strong.
Okay.
You take it altogether out of the government in terms of appointment,
Right.
there is one class which complains. You take it all out of the Lokpal, another class complains. You
Okay.
can't please them all, you're not here to please them all.
Okay, you're not here to please them all, but what you were here was to convey the sense of the House after the resolution was passed in Parliament, after Team Anna's agitation in August. The sense of the House resulted in all your deliberations. Do you really believe the sense of the House which was expressed in August has been really conveyed through your standing committee, or has it, as Team Anna seems to be suggesting, a dilution of that sense of the House in your final report?
Fully, Rajdeep, fully conveyed, implemented, absolutely in letter and spirit. In fact, para 1.8 at the beginning of the report quotes that sense of the House, which is the public domain. And that sense of the House, as you know, talks of lower bureaucracy, Lokayukt, and other issues.
Okay.
Each of those chapters dealing with Lokayukt, lower bureaucracy, then shows and demonstrates how the sense of the House summarized in Pranab Das' speech has been fulfilled and implemented in letter and spirit.
So if you
it
were...
shows it clearly, it demonstrates clearly.
So you believe you've reached out to Team Anna more than halfway. Am I to understand that you've addressed not just the concerns of members of parliament, of the CBI officials, of all those who've met you, but you've also addressed the concerns of Team Anna and indeed civil society activists. You believe you've reached out to them?
While agreeing with the sentiment, a part of the sentiment you are expressing, I don't agree with the way you are putting it. We are not here to reach out or please not only Team Anna, but for that matter NCPR or anybody else.
Right.
We can't do that. We cannot get into that business. But I can tell you,
yes,
this is nowhere near or resembling a government bill. Point number one.
Yes.
It does not in any manner implement a government draft.
Yes.
It certainly does not implement a JLP draft either.
Right.
This has a unique sense of creativity and innovation, obviously with elements taken from different sources, and I believe genuinely and sincerely that it has a very strong anti-corruption punch built into it. And thereafter you have to leave it for institution to work itself out.
My final
you can't expect it within less than 1 year.
My final question to you, can we therefore expect when Parliament ends on the 22nd of December, by then this bill will become possibly law? Is that a hope that you have, that by the 22nd of December, the end of the winter session of Parliament, we will have a Lokpal legislation that has been pending for more than 4 decades?
Well, personally, nothing would make me happier, and but I cannot
Are you
speak
hopeful?
of that. That's beyond my remit and jurisdiction.
Are you hopeful?
I am extremely hopeful. I am extremely hopeful. In fact, I am confident. And let me tell you one thing, Rajdeep. If so much work, focus, and with such amount of alacrity and intense effort has gone into this, I fail to understand why anybody would try to delay the bill. So it may be delayed out of 100.
So you're saying Team Anna has no reason to agitate?
But nobody can.
As far as Abhishek Manu Singhvi is concerned, Team Anna has no reason to go on agitation from the 26th of December.
That has been my view from day one, from 21st September, when we started our deliberations, and from which day we are getting threats about agitation. Okay. But equally, this is a democratic country. You are not here to advise others not to agitate, but certainly they must wait and see the efficacy not only of the bill, but of the Lokpal institution in operation. Okay. Give it a chance for a year or 2 years and then start your agitation if it doesn't work. Okay. That's the right thing to do.
I think you made an important point. You're saying give my bill at least a year or 2, see whether it works before you agitate. That's your message in a sense that you've sent out to Anna Hazare and his supporters. Appreciate your joining us, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, giving your side of the story.